Imagine wearing a heavy costume every day, not for fun, but because it feels necessary. A costume that hides your true self and weighs you down. It keeps you safe, but it's exhausting. You can't breathe, you can't move freely, you can't be you. That's what masking often feels like. Masking is when neurodivergent people, like myself, either intentionally or without realizing it, hide parts of themselves to seem more neurotypical. Unmasking is like shedding that costume. You feel lighter, free, able to move through the world as your authentic self. Can you think of a moment like that in your own life, where you stopped performing and started being? For a long time, I didn't have the language to describe what I was experiencing. The world told me to adapt, so I did. To adjust, so I did. To blend in, so I did. And after a while, you start to believe that's just how life has to be. But eventually you realize you don't need to fit in, you need a space that fits you. That realization doesn't happen overnight, though. A lot of us begin masking before we even have words for it. From my childhood to early adulthood years, there was always this unspoken rhythm to how people move through the world, and I never quite matched it. Conversations felt confusing, classrooms were overwhelming, social situations drained me. School was tough, not because I wasn't smart, but because my brain didn't work the way others expected it to. I stayed getting my folder signed for talking too much or not remembering to complete things, but no one ever asked why. It wasn't that I didn't care, it wasn't that I wasn't trying, it was ADHD, undiagnosed, misunderstood, and masked over with, "You're just not applying yourself." So I kept trying. I tried to be quiet, I tried to be organized, I tried to be everything they said I should be. But no matter how hard I tried, it never felt like enough. I thought I was just forgetful, weird, a bad student. I couldn't explain it, I just knew I was different. Not wrong, not broken, just different. And when you're different, you learn how to blend in. It didn't feel like masking at the time, it felt more like surviving. But really, I was shape-shifting, building a version of myself I thought others would accept. And for a while, you keep going. You keep adapting, you keep performing, until life forces you to pause. For me, that pause came in 2020. The world slowed down, and so did I. A bike accident forced me to rest. No more distractions, no more performing, just me and the silence I've been avoiding. And in that stillness, I started asking myself, why do social interactions drain me? Why does normal life feel so exhausting? What if I wasn't broken, just different? That search for answers led somewhere I hadn't fully considered. My brain simply operates differently. I experience the world through a neurodivergent lens. And finally having that language for that was both freeing and terrifying. That clarity helped me understand myself, but it didn't change the world I had to navigate, especially in the workplace. Corporate spaces have their own unspoken expectations, how you communicate, how you collaborate, how you show up. But when your brain works differently, those expectations don't always come naturally. Let's be honest, corporate culture runs on invisible rules, and if you don't naturally fit them, you're expected to adjust. For people like me, masking isn't a choice, it's the default. We rehearse conversations, script responses, replace simple interactions. Even small talk can be exhausting. I've learned to join Zoom meetings at the last second just to avoid them. Crowded spaces, bright lights, constant noise, an environment like this, all of it adds up to sensory overload. And yet, when it comes to the work itself, many of us excel. We think deeply, solve problems, notice the details others overlook. But it's not the job that wears us out. It's the pressure to navigate the social expectations around it. Masking isn't just tiring, it's exhausting. According to a 2022 research article in Autism in Adulthood, masking may impose many difficulties on autistic individuals, including depression, anxiety, and burnout. It's like trying to run a marathon while holding your breath. Eventually, your body just says enough. The headaches, the fatigue that rest can't fix, the constant second guessing. Many neurodivergent people experience what's called neurodivergent burnout, not because of our brains, but because of the constant effort to function in a world that wasn't built for us. According to Pern Candela's 2024 Neurodiversity at Work report, 63% of over 600 neurodivergent employees said they mask at work. Many describe feeling stressed and struggling with their mental health. We're not struggling because we're incapable. We're struggling because we spent years trying to fit molds never meant for us. And the solution isn't pushing harder, it's letting ourselves be who we are. Unmasking isn't about being unprofessional. It's about being authentic. It's about honoring how our brains work. Here's the truth. Neurodivergent people bring immense value to the workplace. According to Deloitte Insights, teams with neurodivergent professionals in certain roles can be up to 30% more productive. We spot patterns others miss, we challenge assumptions, we solve problems in unconventional ways. But too often, our value is overlooked, not because we lack skills, but because we don't match a narrow definition of professional. True support for neurodivergent people doesn't come from performative policies or temporary fixes. It doesn't rely on us constantly self-advocating or vanish the moment leadership changes. Real support is built into the foundation. It's created by people who've lived it, not just studied it. It includes proactive training for managers. It evolves as our needs evolve. And it isn't tied to promotions, performance, or proving our worth. It's part of the foundation because we belong here. That's why unmasking isn't just something I talk about, it's something I live. Events like this one, they still make me nervous. Not because I don't care, but because the social pressure can be overwhelming. Standing here today is part of my unmasking. I used to think I had to show up a certain way to be taken seriously. Polished, perfect, put together. But over time I realized I don't need to perform professionalism to be professional. I just need to be present. So I showed up as me, grounded, honest, enough. Because this is the version of me that deserves to take up space. There was a time I wouldn't have believed I could do this. But unmasking has taught me I don't have to be perfect to be worthy of being seen. This talk is about giving myself permission and giving others permission to take up space. While my story is personal, it's not unique. So many people are wearing their own version of the mask. So I'll leave you with this. What would change in your workplace, your relationships, your community, if people no longer had to wear the mask? What if success didn't mean fitting in, but embracing what makes you different? Imagine the innovation we'd unlock, the talent we'd unleash, the people we'd empower. Because when you take the mask off, you don't just free yourself, you give others permission to do the same. Thank you.